has many daunting tasks ahead in the coming century. The world community of nations faces powerful challenges in the 21st century, challenges that must be met if humanity is to progress to new levels of social and spiritual development. What is often forgotten in discussions of these issues is how central the institution of the family is to meeting each and every one of them. Without strong families, governments will be hard-pressed to meet any of the major challenges they face in the coming decades. The organizers of the inaugural World Convention of the Family Federation for World Peace, the Summit Council for World Peace, the Women's Federation for World Peace, and the Washington Times Foundation recognized that the time was ripe to discuss the subject of family values, what it means, what its implications are, and how it can help humankind meet the pressing challenges of the next century. Attendees from 172 nations joined for 2 days, sharing ideas and personal reflections as they examined the global implications of family values in the 21st century. The overall theme of the conference, which emerged in the remarks of one speaker after another, was the recognition of a challenge simple in essence, but towering in its difficulty. In a rapidly changing, globalizing information age, a time that challenges existing authorities, prompts alienation in many people, and drives societies in the direction of moral relativism, how can we create a new ethic of family values appropriate to the times?
The agricultural revolution lasted 10,000 years and is still ongoing in many parts of the world. The Industrial Revolution and the rise of the modern nation-state is only 200 years old, which has already been replaced by the Information Revolution that is only 15 years old. Now, as we're about to enter the 21st century, we see that the nation-state is too small to solve the big problems and too big for the small problems. The nation-state can no longer protect the weakest by reducing inequalities and redistributing wealth. Social security systems are crumbling under the weight of deficits. Nation-states can no longer regulate their economies. That role has fallen victim to globalization. At the same time, corruption is weakening the capacity of the state to embody the nation. If current trends persist, we may soon be faced with the dilemma of having to choose between the free market and the free society.
This concern for our future and the need for families throughout the world to regain control of their lives was voiced by leaders, commentators, educators, and entertainers who stressed that solutions to many of today's problems lie in a renewed emphasis on traditional family values.
While the world's finest athletes test themselves in Atlanta, this gathering is sort of a spiritual Olympics. Like the Olympians, you have assembled from all over the world to further the cause of peace among nations. But while those Olympians are dedicated to gold and glory, you in this room pursue other objectives. The glory you seek comes from God, not gold. If at times I sound a bit like an Old Testament prophet, it's because there is nothing about which I feel more strongly, more deeply than the survival and the strengthening of the family. No civilization that neglects the family can be called civilized for long, and no political philosophy that takes the family for granted will be taken seriously by anyone who values morality, compassion, and peace.
President Ford's remarks were echoed by numerous world leaders who spoke before an assembly of concerned attendees at the opening plenary session.